I'm going to show what I've been up to the past few weeks. This is in preparation for a campaign called Hoard of the Dragon Queen. It's a combined adventure called Tyranny of Dragons. And I wanted to talk about my setups, what I'm doing, what I'm trying to make, and how I'm doing all this stuff. It's going to involve construction, painting, tips to being a dungeon master with the way that I run my battle boards. So this is going to be unedited, unfiltered. This might be boring, but if you want to see some things that are pretty cool with a little bit of lore behind what's going on, stick around. So for what I am going to play is Hoard of the Dragon Queen, and it's part of the Tyranny of Dragons campaign. So it's 2 adventures, and the first adventure involves this white dragon as the main bad guy, and then part 2 is called the Rise of Tiamat, and this is Tiamat. It's going to be the things I'm going to show you is going to be some things that I bought, obviously. Tiamat, Neothelid. I don't know how to pronounce it, but this is like a crazy underground creature that I'm never going to use it unless we play like Mind Flayer campaigns. And then this is the blue dragon, adult blue dragon. I have him on the pillar to make it like he's flying. So when we play the game, I had him like this on the battle board. And this is going to be changed. I have the keep from chapter 1 of Hoard of the Dragon Queen. This is the battle format, the battlements, the fort. So I drew everything on the map, and I wanted to take things to another level, so I got into construction, and I'm going to show you what I've been working on. First, to start off with minis for the characters, which is obviously pretty cool. Just having a blank mat like this, drawing everything on there. It's new stuff for me. I tried doing this when I was like younger, but it was a lot of time consumption. So doing all this stuff that I'm going to show you takes a while. I'm going to go here with my Dnd Figures first. These are pre-bought figures from the Tyranny of Dragons, Icon of the Realms figurine set. I bought these a long time ago, like maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I believe, and I was using them for the basic figures of what they had. Some of these are not Tyranny of Dragons. Like that's Dritz's friend from the R.A. Salvatore books. He's the barbarian. I forgot his name. But I got these like 6 years ago, and I didn't realize that this set was the Tyranny of Dragons set. So now we were talking about running adventure campaign books, the old ones, and I never got to play Hoard of the Dragon Queen or Tyranny of Dragons, the Rise of Tiamat. So this is part 2. And as you can see, Tiamat is on the cover. Now, when I chose to pick this as the DM, me being the DM, I didn't realize the adventure that I was picking. I thought, we are going to fight Tiamat eventually. And that makes me come back to this figurine of Tiamat. Where is it? So this is the rest of my dragon set. I have the white Dracolich. There's a gold or bronze, one of the bronze, I believe, copper, and then green, a shadow dragon. There's a white dragon from 4th edition, so that doesn't technically count. But these are all the rest of the dragon set from the Icons of the Realms that I was telling you about. And I bought the Attack Wing D&D set where you play as dragons and other characters based on those species. Now, let me show you the baby Tiamat that I got. It's not a baby, but this is for Attack Wing, and I figured I could buy this for the Attack Wing game and just use it as a figurine for D&D. And I was cool with it, you know. But I just decided in the end, like, if I'm going to play the Rise of Tiamat, I want to have something more imposing for the characters, my players to see. You don't need it. I just got it for my own sake, just to be able to play as Tiamat. Alright, close this, turn this off. Alright. I'll worry about that later. So going back to the table. It's not just being these figurines. It's also playing these old novels, like Legend of Huma. I got Kaz the Minotaur. So a lot of these involve after the fall of Takesis. I know Takesis as the five-headed dragon, like Tiamat. So I just imagined myself buying Tiamat and calling her Takesis based off of these novels. Oh, here's Rise of not Rise of Huma, it's the Legend of Huma. So it's the War of the Lance. That's the whole basis of this story. For the Dragonlance novels, at least. These are my Dark Sun novels, Planescape, and Spelljammer. Okay, so going back to running this campaign, I got this as for $300. The package came in damaged, but the thing is fine. I got this because it's more imposing than the other Tiamat figurine that I showed you, and buying it, it's outrageous. But I'm 43 years old now, and I never seen anything like this when I was a kid. Just to have a figurine playing D&D when I was a kid was like a miracle. I only had like a $2 a week allowance, so I'm doing it now to basically play the adventure from those novels that I read like all those years ago, like 30 years ago, 25 years ago. I've been reading these things since I was 13 years old. So now we're getting into these miniatures. These ones I painted myself. And the black half dragon and the blue half dragon, those are for the initial villains on Hoard of the Dragon Queen. So I painted these ones myself. I wish it could come out better. This guy's ruining it. That's what it is. Well, these are the villains for Hoard of the Dragon Queen. And these were for Out of the Abyss. And that's for Out of the Abyss also. So these are all characters that I painted myself. This is initially Tyranny, Icons of the Realm. Let me see if I can find the original look. This is, you're going to laugh. All right. So this is a bugbear, and that's a bugbear, but I painted him to be Prince Darendil from Out of the Abyss. And I forgot what his species was called, but if you know Out of the Abyss lore, I used this bugbear, cut off his mace, and made him an NPC, and I like how it came out for real. Like, I think it came out pretty good. One of the first characters that I painted. This treasure chest, I just made it last night or the night before, but I made this out of cereal boxes and popsicle sticks and glue, and then I painted it. I had to do a little bit of sanding or filing down, but it's a really good size. We'll show it right here. So when my characters are on the battleground map and they find a treasure chest, it's I could throw it on the map. I'm gonna make a bunch of these. And like I said, it's cereal boxes, cardboard boxes, popsicle sticks. I'll probably get some toothpicks and use them also, but I painted these minis and now I'm gonna start making props for my maps. These are my pencils, pens and pencils. It's just 0.5, 0.7 pencils. Now, we're gonna go back to the characters that I have right here. This is Demogorgon. I bought him from Gale Force 9 for around $90, and I had to assemble him. And did I just wipe it out? Nope. Okay, I had to assemble him and paint him myself. So he came out primered like this. I'm not finished. I spent, I think, 2 months painting him off and on, and it's not the true colors of the Demogorgon. I made him my version because I didn't want him to look more baboon-like. I wanted him to look more just demonic, some type of crazy creature. And so his face is supposed to be 2 baboon heads, and I didn't like that idea. But he is a demon lord from the Abyss. This is Orcas. I bought him. It was like $80, I think. And there was a version that I do want, and I have to paint it myself for the same price. I like the other model better, but I got this because I didn't want to paint it at the time. But I like this model too. So these two are demon lords from the Abyss. And Tiamat is also a demon lord from the Abyss. So when I got these guys, it was for the Out of the Abyss campaign, which is a literal dimension where all the demons come from. So here it is, Out of the Abyss. And when I played it, we played it for almost a year and a half, 2 years, I think, and we got to almost finishing like part A of the book. We were in Blingdenstone and getting ready to get to the surface, but we put the game on hold. The party split up. It's a depressing game. The whole environment is depressing. The mentality of the game is just very dark and dreary and moody. So unless you're ready to play a game that's fucked up and just you don't know much of where to go and get frustrated with being underground only, that's Out of the Abyss. You gotta be dedicated to play this game. Find a way to make it fun. It is fun. It's a very just dark demonic game with lots of madness checks, insanity, poisons. So we stopped it, put it on hold, and we have a new player that we might consider playing part 2 of Out of the Abyss and continue it. But it's cool because now I have these demon lords for if they ever fight together. All right, now here is the projects that I'm working on now. As I showed you the treasure chest. Let me sit down. This is a new battle board that I'm working on. It's going to be 2-sided. So it's 2 22 by 22 panels from cardboard boxes that I cut off. This side is going to be like outdoor grass and dirt setting. This side is going to be tiles and cobblestones and like a dungeon floor. So I put my own pattern in here for now, just stopping right here to show the process of what I'm making. And this is cereal boxes, all of these tiles that I just carved out, put myself. So here's it was Cheerios or Honey Nut Cheerios, and then I got Frosted Flakes, but it's the Millville from Aldi's. Anyways, this is what I'm using to cut these out to make these panels. And we're going to look at the size of this map. It's 22 inches by 22. So they don't have to be wholly accurate. It's cobblestones. There's like, let's say whoever made it did a shitty job and he got fired. And then they had to get somebody else to finish it. So now the pattern is as best as they could get it type deal. And I try to make it fancier cobblestones in the middle, like bigger steps, not steps, stones with a little pattern on the outside. And the way I did this in order of building it, glued it together. This side of the cardboard is the grid lines are going this way. On the opposite side, the lines are going this way. So you could see the lines that I'm talking about, the wavy interior. So this panel is going that way. The other side, these lines are going up and down to give it extra support. And then I measured out 22 inches. So I spray painted the whole thing black with a cheap spray paint for $2. And it sucks. It's shit because the can is already almost gone just from making this panel. But, damn thirsty. Touch glue. It's still wet, obviously. All right. So when I made this, I put pencil lines, just not lines all the way across, just markings, like put a line here, a little mark here, a little mark there, all the way across. And I made a cross pattern. And then I didn't know what I wanted to do for this middle section. So I just started placing bricks, not from the edge, but I knew I was going to use pieces like this at the end. So I grabbed a 1-inch piece and I started making a line of bricks, and then this one to this one, back and forth, making sure it looks like a brick pattern trail. And I stopped around this area and left it blank, and then I continued with the next line, stopped around here, continued with the next line, stopped around there. So I got close to the middle, but this whole section was blank. And I put these first to get my basic formation for a centerpiece. I keep touching glue. And then I put these blocks right here. And I didn't know what to put for the corner, so I made another large cobblestones for the corners, and now it has a fancy pattern in the middle. And from here, I wanted to work on these patches one at a time. I might make them all the same tile as this, or I could put a different pattern here, and a different pattern here, and a different pattern here. Meaning, like, I could do that brick setting layout, staggered, and just have it all the way across. Just like this. I can make it all like that. I could put a spiral pattern in there with tiles to make it look fancy, like a fancy room. But then I decided I'm going to make it all this basic pattern on this side. And then I can have another basic pattern on this side. But basically, half the map's going to be one pattern, this similar, and then this side will have this similar. If I want to put the spiraling top panels, I have extra cardboard down there that I'm going to cut up to make those panels. Actually, they're right here. So I could cut this into 4s. So when I cut it like here and here, then I could place a spiral pattern on this with the same color as this, same bricks around the spiral, and then I could just place it somewhere like it's a part of the map. And that's just an example of different things that I could do for this. Now we're going to get into the walls, a 3D wall. I have this. Basically, it was a cardboard like this, and I measured out 4 inches, so I put 4-inch lines all the way down. And when I cut it with these razor blades, 99-cent store razor blades, I cut along the line, but I didn't cut deep enough to go all the way through the cardboard. I just put lines deep enough to cut one side and then bend it. So it's not the greatest support. I'm going to have to come back in and glue all of these, which is fine. But this is one piece that I'm going to use for the wall right here. And I'm going to decorate it to look like a fortress with the open, the open grid pattern, whatever it's called, the brick layout where it's like up and down, up and down, up and down. They could like take cover behind those holes and stuff. And so I glued this, I'm going to call it a binding or a bone, in the center so that when I do fully close it, this extra piece is going to get glue and close it like so, but better. And I'm going to add more of those bones or bindings to the edges right here and there with these pieces right here. So I already bent them to fit. It's not going to fit precisely, because even if you bend it and put it in, when you glue it, you're going to want to press it. So I put the binding in maybe about 2 inches from the edge. You'll see in this one, I think. Yeah, there's one binding, and then let's see the other one right there. Yep, that's how we see it. Okay, so this bone is that, and it's going to give me a 1 inch by 1 inch wall, and I'm going to use foam board, quarter-inch foam board. I'm going to trace out brick patterns, but it's going to be a mass brick pattern from that to be where cylinders they could take cover behind, and it's wide enough that even when I put the foam boards on both sides, these guys could go on top. And I got a ballista, not ballista, but yeah, ballista. I got these characters on here, just an example. So there's enough space already, wide enough with the cuts, and all I got to do to reinforce it, get a hot glue gun and glue the whole slice right there. So I cut through that entirely right there? No, that's the opening. What am I talking about? Okay. But as this is the opening end, so you can see how close I have it to be where all I got to do to seal it is put glue. Let me get the other one. And this is a better picture. So you can see I cut more than halfway, but not entirely through. And just to make sure that nothing peels off in the future, I want to hot glue it. And this is going to be that wall. This is going to be this wall right there. And then this one is going to be this big wall right there. So this is the keep from chapter 1 of Hoard of the Dragon Queen. And I'm going to build this sally port with the gates, the bracers for, fortifications. And then this is a church. I don't know if I'm going to build a church. That'd be crazy. That'll be next time. So the battle map for when the players play we're still on session 1, mind you. This is preparation, and so I'm gonna try to go all out, making my own walls, my own dungeon tiles or castle tiles, whatever it could be used for. Do some 3D props, make some trees. Oh, I also have styrofoam. I got this big pile of styrofoam right here. And I'm going to chop that down, melt it, and I can make other things with it. So this is my boring ass video of Dungeons and Dragons and plans for the future with these models. I'm not going to go crazy and buy every model. It's not necessary. I'm not buying anything like the buildings and stuff because that's way too much money. And I like the thought of either drawing things on the map, simple drawings, this is too complicated. You're not gonna be able to draw this in this game session. But drawing maps and then imagining everything in your, it's cool and all. I like it. It's the best way I could think of to play D&D. These can ruin the game because now you bring out the figures, everybody's gonna know what you're fighting, and it's not a surprise anymore. So when the encounters come, you don't show them the figures at all. Don't let them know you bought them. Don't say anything about anything. And then when the encounter happens, you put the figure on the map and watch their expressions. So, like, example, on session 0, when they're around the town, they see the dragon flying around, and then, there's no hiding that. I mean, I had it like just the cylinder flying around town. I go, this is a dragon, and that's all I told them. And I was just moving it around town. Like round 1, it was here. Round 2, it was there. 3, it was there, and so forth. Having it attacking the fort and the keep. So they only saw this. And then when we did session 0, we slipped into session 1, just the beginning part. And that's when I brought the dragon in on the map and in front of their characters. Like they got in a fight with the kobolds and then protecting civilians. So let's say civilians were right there, and then they just finished killing kobolds, and then I just slapped the dragon right in between them because it was perfect spacing, and they didn't see this at all. I just hid it from them, and when I put it on the map and they saw it, they were like, "Geez, are you serious? We're only level 1." And I was like, "Yep." The dragon talked to them and killed one, brought him down to 0 hit points, but that's the way it goes. Anyways, there's spoilers to these figures, but there's it's nice to see them and have them too. I care about character minis, like what I showed over there for the party members. I don't care about monsters. I use these for like monsters and allies. So green would be monsters, allies would be white, or it could be booby traps, whatever it may be. So I'm upgrading my look for the battle maps on playing D&D for my campaign. And I got 99-cent rulers, 99-cent razors, 99-cent scissors. It was 3 scissors for $1.99 or something like that. I got my chisels and filers, paintbrushes. These are expensive paints. Don't use these paints to paint your landscapes. Mini paints are for minis. Landscapes, you get junk paint. Just use junk paint for your landscapes. Don't waste your good paints on this stuff. Or your good brushes. Now, my battle rhythm. So, since I had the dragon flying around town, I had to mark his position round 1, round 2, round 3, all the way down to 15. And my players didn't realize that's what this was for. My players, they said, "Oh, I like how you have the round counts for the whole battle." I was like, "Yeah, that's the battle rhythm." And then I have their initiative count of the. I put who's first, whatever, and I have their actual rolls for what they roll for initiative. So it's easier for me to put their numbers with their names, and then put the order, and then I got my little side notes over here. Some notes I show, some notes I don't. Some notes are fake notes, and to confuse them. So we're going to go over how I do my notes on here real quick. Let me walk around. So the NPCs, red, these are the bad guys. Of course, you're going to see red names, and then you're going to see blue names. These are the good guys. This is fine. This is common knowledge. These are NPCs from the beginning of chapter 1, the mother and father, Linen and Kuth, and then the two kids that they were with. These are command words for uh, for Frulam. Frulam is a warrior with spells. She carries a halberd. So I have her right there. Purple robes. This was a red robe wizard from Thay, I believe. And I colored it purple and gold to match the Dragon Queen. Or the Hoard of the Dragon Queen campaign. Cult of the Dragon armies. The Cult of the Dragon members. They wear purple and gold. So these are Cult of the Dragon. And I have their names up there so that the player's going to ask me, what are their names again? How do you spell them? But if names are on top, they're not going to know what the names are. They're just going to read names and they're not going to know. Unless it says Nisam Wiladra, monk injured. I didn't make up these names. This is book names. And so I have my NPCs up here for everybody to see. They have the notes. I have their stats right here. So Sergeant Markuth, I have him as a guard, and he's going to be HB 22 or 48 plus 4. Let the players roll the hit dice if they want to. Otherwise, he's going to have 11 hit points. But that's just an example of letting my characters have control also. If when they meet him, and if he's going to fight Landedrosa, the blue dragon, the blue half dragon, the stats are going to be right there for my characters to roll and use them. So that's how I have the battle rhythm with the status and the effects, whether it's players or monsters that have spells cast on them. So the status is what happens. The status is how many rounds, and the effects are what's happening to them. And then we do the countdown of how many rounds the effect is happening. And the round count, the total 1 through 15 that I have on the side, it was to help me keep track of the position of where the blue dragon was when he was flying around the keep. That way, it's more intense for the players to have the awareness of the dragon and understand its positioning. I've been looking online at like 3 campaigns of Hoard of the Dragon Queen, and when they introduced the chapter 1 with the dragon attacking the keep, it was not imposing. It didn't feel like it was anything more than just dropping and dragging into a battlefield, but there was no real sense of danger with the dragon. So when I added the rounds, it was north, northeast, east, southeast, south. The rotation of the dragon where I know he's going. So the players saw that and they didn't know what it was until they started seeing it was a clear pattern for the directions, and they were like, "Oh, okay, I get it." So having the battle rhythm showing, it's not a bad idea for players to see this, so they can see that it's a clear understanding on who's going to go and when. Yeah, it's a big whiteboard. That whiteboard is like 10 years old. It was in my garage. It's bent, and I still use it. So it's not like I did spend a lot of money throughout the years to play D&D, but these figures were within this last year. These were about 2 years ago. But these were... this was in the past half year I got these ones right there. Then I got into painting the small ones on the bookshelf. And I'll have to say, with the exception of these big ones, that's 300, 90. This was 100. This was 80. Those are the big money right there. But these are long-lasting characters that I can use in the future, any campaign. It's an adult dragon. I don't have any blue dragons. That's an adult blue dragon. I got Orcas, and Orcas is in more than one campaign. Orcas is in Out of the Abyss, and also, oh geez, what's the other one? Crap, I can't think of it. It's not Tomb of Annihilation. Oh, I can't think of it right now. But anyways, I can use these guys not just as decorations, but with the campaigns, which is what's good about it. So I got this guy because he's going to be in Out of the Abyss pretty soon when we play part 2 again. Well, not Out of the Abyss part 2. It's just when they get the alliances together, then they go back into the Abyss. So when the campaign finishes, this is for after the campaign. If one of the Neolithic leeches grows at the end of the campaign and it's over, and then it's going to be a little after adventure with a Gargantuan Neothelid, whatever it's called. But if you know about Mind Flayers, and you like Mind Flayers and Illithids and the God Brains or Elder Brains, I mean, that's a cool creature to look into. So yeah. Oh, I do have another side to this map drawn. So I got, 4 maps on this one map going on. I got to get back to work. The glue should be almost dry. I should start putting on more panels. Start putting more panels on right here. Finish this tonight, and then hopefully tomorrow I can paint. All right.